So there's this form of music called boogie woogie. And that's a version of me playing a boogie woogie. But there was also a song called Pinetop's Boogie Woogie. Clarence Pinetop Smith. He got his name from climbing the tall trees there in his hometown. Pine trees, I'm guessing. And he'd probably sit up at the top, hence Pinetop Smith. So Clarence came up with this pumping left hand. And it is told that he came up with this riff, which is heard in rock and roll and roots music. Even today, you go to a blues club, you're going to hear that from the piano player.
If there is a piano player there amongst all the billions of guitar players.
The thing with Clarence is that he would get on these trains and they'd be on the carriage right at the back. And he'd be sitting on a bale of hay for a piano stool, and he'd be playing the piano. There'd be other people in there, like-minded poor folk that were just wanting to go out and have a great time. So he'd play the piano in there, apparently. You know, it's pretty dirty in those back carriages. There'd be livestock even in there, a goat chewing on someone's sleeve. Get out of it. And anyhow, the train would stop, and they would make their way out of the train, across the platform. Presumably someone would carry the goat, and they'd make their way to a bar. Now, these bars, or honky-tonks, or barrel houses, were pretty rough. And a lot of the dregs of society were there. It was there where he learned to play so loud because it was very, very obnoxious, everything around him. People fighting and carrying on. And it is a very sad story that Pinetop, after having some success with his song Boogie Woogie, Pinetop actually was killed when he was hit by a stray bullet. They say that the first time the two words boogie woogie, the first time those two words were used and printed was on Clarence Pinetop Smith's record, Boogie Woogie. Of course, that sound, that would go on to make its way into big bands. Tommy Dorsey did a version of it. And then it was featured heavily with horns and other instrumentation as well. But we owe that man an awful lot.